Welcome to Excellence in Excel. My name is Nick Wong, and in this video we're going to focus on how to use a VLOOKUP function to make it more dynamic, especially because we have a static dropdown. Yes, this is a static dropdown, and with this static dropdown we're going to match up the price, just the same as here. So how do we do that? Well, very simple. We need to use the VLOOKUP function for this. So step one, let's start with the VLOOKUP. So the VLOOKUP is a vertical lookup function, meaning it will search a value in a vertical level. So vertical is from top to bottom. Yes, up to down. All right, so let's start with that. We say VLOOKUP, open, and let's click here on the formula builder. So once we have the formula builder, it's easy to follow. So step one is, what is the value we're looking for? Well, simple. We're looking for this value, whatever is in here. Once we have this, where can we find the information? In which table do we have that? Well, simple. We can click here on sheet number 2, and we have here our large list. So you can select the entire list here. Once we have this, there's an option here to click F4. Oh, it doesn't work here. If we click here, maybe F4. Yes, you can see here we click F4 to freeze the values. All right. So once we have that, question number 3. In which column do we get the value? Yeah, so what is really important? So let me show you here. We have this value for the VLOOKUP, and the VLOOKUP will only work if the first value matches with this. So if you're searching for a value and the first value is here, and this is also here, and the second column contains the value, or the third or the fifth, then it's fine. But imagine if this would be the second column and the first column contained the value, not possible. Then you need a different formula. It's called the index match formula. So not needed now, but that is important to remember. So in this case, what we want is, what's the column number? Well, column number 2, right? And the reason why column number 2, if I select these, we go back here, you see this is column 1 and that is column 2. All right, so I just click on escape, and that doesn't work, of course, because it just breaks the formula. So I'm going to do it one more time. So first of all, VLOOKUP, open, click this, and then I go back here, select all these values here. Column number is 2, this is the second column. All right. And do we need a range lookup or match lookup? Default is always match lookup. And if you need a range lookup, in this case you won't need it. But if you would need it, for example, you need a value between $1 and $1.50, some etc. etc. If it's like a between value, then you need a range lookup. So if you don't need it, you can put in 0 or leave it blank. Okay, so once we did that, we click done. And we're done. And right now I notice we are making a mistake here, and the reason why we're making a mistake is we're selecting the wrong list. So I'm going to remove this and select this again, because we don't need this one here, we need this part here, the furniture store. Alright, so once we did that, I'm going to freeze the values of this by clicking F4, and here also F4, and enter. So now we've got that. Now then we can drag that, and let's see what happens. Nope. Of course, the reason why it doesn't work now, I was thinking about it, the formula builder is open. Because the formula builder is open, it will block anything what you do. So you have to close that, and then we can start to drag that. There you are. So now we have our matching value. Let's click on chair. How much is chair? 125. Is that true? Our chair is 125 and table is $99. So let's click here on table, $99. So now we have our formula working perfectly, and this works. And maybe you say, wait a minute, this works nice, but I don't like this. And why is this here? Well, the reason why this is here is because there's no value here. If there's a value, yes, it works. But if there's no value, let's delete this. You can see it gives not available value. Of course, the reason why it does this is very simple, because there's no value to compare. So what is the option to do? How can we add this up? Well, simple. what we need to do is we need to clean up the formula. So you can see here, and this is really nice in Excel, you can, as you continue step by step, you can fine tune and go deeper. And that's why Excel is so wonderful. I really like that part. So let's start and adjust that as well. So the first thing what we want to do is we're going to use a formula. It says if NA, meaning NA for not available. So if NA or not available basically says we use the VLOOKUP value, search for the value, and if in case the value is not available, we say comma, then show this value, which is 0, and then close. Enter. So now we have this value, and then we can drag this down. There you are. So now if we add up a value, that's nice. If we delete value, it becomes 0 as well. So another way is also to do it with if error. However, I don't recommend if error, or at least not in this case. The reason why is if error will automatically put on 0 if there's an error or if it's not available. That is an option. However, if you have a mistake in your formula, it becomes also 0, which is not what you want. With if NA, it just focuses on if there's no value available. This has nothing, like in our case, which is a correct situation, then the value must be 0. That's normal. But if there's an error, maybe a formula has a mistake in here and you don't see it, then you get an issue. So what I mean by that is if error, that's the formula. So you can see here, we click on Formula Builder, almost a similar situation. However, not recommended, at least not in this. If you have formulas, that's crucial. Don't use if error, just use if not available, because this is really the situation where it applies. And that is really how you can do this. So if you like tips and tricks about Excel, how to improve your skills in Excel, check out the link below. In there you can find an entire course to keep on improving yourself. And if you have some specific questions regarding to Excel and want to see some specific videos, just let me know. Put a comment in the comment section and I will follow up to you.